The past 2 weeks were pretty tough. I worked on my new Learn with Pascal platform, or the website of it, which was quite complicated because there are quite a few changes, both on the channel but also on Learn with Pascal and in my life, that I would like to share with you today. So let's get right into it. We'll also have a little questions and answers. At the end of this video, I asked you guys and I received lots of questions, so we'll talk about that as well. First, what has changed? Obviously, you see it, you probably saw it already. I have a new studio. I moved to Hua Hin here in Thailand from Chiang Mai. Reason was simply or mainly that the air pollution there during this time of the year gets pretty bad, much worse than in other parts of Thailand and Southeast Asia. And we decided for that reason to not live there any longer. And of course, also having the ocean here is quite nice as well. So you probably noticed already that my content changed quite a bit because of that. New places where I go to, etc. And I can also do some new trips from here. That's pretty good. And I also try from now on to publish 2 videos per week. It will not always work out because sometimes stuff just happens. But I got my old editor back, Daniel. So I let him edit around every second video now. And I edit the rest, which frees up a lot of time, so I can publish more videos now. And there's also another personal thing which affects everything a little bit, which is that likely in August I will become a father. Could also be already at the end of July. So in July, August, September, you will probably see a bit less of me because I have other stuff to do then, but that's also one reason why I changed Learn with Pascal up a bit, because I still want to be there for you guys. And I also asked myself recently, or actually over the span of 2 years around, what I can improve, both on the YouTube channel, but also in Learn with Pascal, to help you even better to create better videos. Because in the past, I only offered the courses there. Of course, I did some updates here and there for the courses, and sometimes people emailed me and stuff. We also had the Facebook group, but it was still mainly online courses. So it wasn't really an interactive learning experience, and there was also not too much content coming up all the time. I want to change that because I think I can help you much better. So at first, what I already mentioned, I try at least to publish more videos now on that YouTube channel here for free. And as mentioned earlier, I also created a whole new website for Learn with Pascal. So there will be a lot more content added from now on, because there are some new features that allow for that and make it easier for me as well. And there will also be more community-like features, and it's generally more interactive, like you can comment on everything, etc. So I would say let's have a quick look at it. So this is how it looks like when you enter Learn with Pascal. At first, we're on the feed page where you can see all the latest videos I've added, because I add videos here regularly. And so you don't extra have to go to courses series or so to see what's been added. You just see it directly here on the front page. And of course, we're also having news, some updates for you here, and also upcoming events, which is not super important, but you see that here directly. You will also get emails for those. So if you want to, you can close that, but you can also leave it open. So much about the feed. Let's come to courses. There you find all the big Learn with Pascal courses in there that I developed over the years. And if you click on a course, let's say practical videography here, for example, for shooting videos, you find all the modules here and then the lessons on the right side. So let's go, for example, to weekly videography drills. They are quite unique about my courses. Take day 1 here. And here now we're in the lesson essentially where you find the drill. And if we scroll down, what you will also find is a comment section, which is a super important feature, because maybe you still have questions or you heard about conflicting information on the internet or so, maybe some outdated stuff. Then you can ask questions here and I will do my best to answer those within 48 hours. And it's not just about asking questions, but we can even have discussions here. So like other people can comment as well. And of course, I will give my direct feedback. So this is already our first community-like function. And I think the rest here is straightforward, like you just click your course and you can learn whatever you want here. You're not limited. You can access all the courses in that Learn with Pascal subscription. And then when we're clicking on series are essentially like mini courses or a bunch of tutorials for a certain subject. So With the big courses, for example, you learn the big skills like using DaVinci Resolve or using Final Cut or going out shooting videos. But series or mini courses essentially are more specific. They're a bit smaller and are there to teach you very specific skills. As you can see here, for example, my full 2025 video creation workflow. This is sounds a bit weird as a skill, but this is actually a workflow that I use that makes everything very efficient while still giving really good results with beautiful videos. So you might want to learn that. And here in this series, I will show you step by step exactly how my workflow goes. So you can just copy that completely. And for that reason, those series also build well on these courses, because obviously if you never edited a video before, if you don't even know how to use DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut, then parts of that series would be hard for you, and that's why it works well together. You do all the courses first, or at least the courses that consist of what you need to learn, and then based on the courses you can watch all those series and you learn additional skills there. It's only 2 series for now because the platform is new. I will add a lot more. There's, for example, a color grading series that's coming soon that I'm planning right now. And then we're also having video editing breakdowns here, as you can see, where it's more like individual videos. It's not like a series where you learn something step by step. This is more like whenever I have a video or I made a video that I think would be worth sharing with you, how I did it, how I edited it, then you will find the breakdown of this video here. So series is one of our new features in Learn with Pascal, and I think that's super cool. This will be a lot of very interesting content for you. And in the series, you will also find lots of regular updates, because this is something that I really want to focus on, especially now in 2025 and coming years. And courses, of course, like a course is oftentimes fixed, so I add new content there whenever something comes up, but it can't be done that regularly. And then next, we're having events here. Now there are 2 main types of events, which is at first the question and answer sessions, which you see here right now. And there's also video feedback sessions. And those sessions are where you can just click on here and you can submit your questions or your videos by clicking that button here in the events. So you see a form here, you can just ask your questions and then click submit, and the submissions, the questions will appear here. And the same goes for videos. You can submit your videos there also via a form just by clicking the button whenever such an event is live, and I will review those videos. And those sessions, both questions and answers and also videos, are not live, because I figured out over time that my life tends to get a bit too chaotic sometimes to really have or keep a regular schedule for live streams running. And I also noticed that the more regularly I do live streams, the less people join, because oftentimes there are just not enough people having questions and stuff. So that's why I do it like that now. This helps me to keep it consistent so that we can have 1 question and answer session every month and 1 video feedback session every month as well. And regarding live streams, I will do live streams that will also be listed under events here, but I won't do that regularly. It will be whenever I just find the time to do a live stream. But yeah, that's also coming up. But I think even the questions and answers and especially video feedback sessions, they already add a lot of value here, because you learn directly what you can improve in your videos next. And you can also answer direct questions that are answered quickly. And next is here downloads. We skipped downloads here accidentally. So under downloads, you find all my products, because I want you to be successful. And for that, I give you all the resources from my shop for free. So here, for example, you get my Depthscape LUTs, which gives you really nice look straight out of camera. If you want to plan more complicated videos, you also find my Notion template here, and my transitions, of course, and all the other stuff. And by the way, I will add all new products and updates to existing products that come out also here in that downloads section. And there's also another point, which is suggest content. Now, I'm a human being, I'm not perfect, so maybe there are lessons that you would like to have that are not there yet, maybe because I didn't have certain problems or so when I started out, or I didn't think of something. In that case, you can just type whatever you want to have here, describe it a little bit closer if that's necessary, click submit. It will appear here under consideration. And and I aim for adding this content within 2 weeks. So the moment I start working on it, you will see it appearing under progress here. And when it's added, you will find it under content added with a link to the video that I added. So you find it directly, you don't extra have to look for it on the page. And you also see what other people added here. So you can also see already what might or what will be added in the future. I write under consideration here because sometimes it might be something that can be answered with 1 or 2 sentences. In that case, I would also just use the comment function to give you a direct answer. But whenever it's totally valid to make a full video about it, I will do that, and you will find it here usually within 2 weeks, unless I'm traveling or so. Okay, and there's one more feature, which is our community chat. And that's here. We have one WhatsApp community and also a Facebook one. I'll be honest here, the Facebook group is not super active. You can still post there and I will answer, and some people might answer too, but it's not ultra active, which is why I introduced the WhatsApp community now, because that's a bit more direct. So you see the WhatsApp community actually here on the screenshot. That's super nice because you can talk with me and other people about all sorts of stuff related to filmmaking and also traveling. And even if you're traveling and you're looking for other creators to collaborate with, for example, you can just write that in the travel talk here and you might find other people to go out with and shoot videos. So if you're in central Thailand here, you can of course also hit me up there as well. Just mention me and I will reply soon. And yeah, that's the communities. You also have this feature here where you can manage your profile, your subscription, and whenever we should add a community page or stuff, you can also upload your image here. So this is how Learn with Pascal looks. And of course, we're having this content suggestion feature here, which you can also use if you would like to see certain features added to that platform. Because I built it all myself, it's mostly custom coded, and therefore I can add pretty much everything. There are no limits, so if you have any suggestions, feel free to write that as well. So this is how the new Learn with Pascal platform looks from the inside. If you're interested in it, you will find a link to it in the description below. I hope to see you there, so check it out. And there's also a bit more information, especially about the courses on this page, so that you really find if it's something for you or not. Anyway, I would say let's move on now to the questions and answers. I received quite a few questions. Even if you didn't ask a question, you maybe listen, because you might find some information there that you're also looking for. At first, there's Justin Min. What's your favorite camera setup of all time? Camera, lens, and other accessories? I would overall say this one, but there is no perfect camera setup. They all have their downsides. Sony A9 Mark III, like my favorite camera so far. It's just so good. Of course, a 70-200, but it wouldn't be my only lens. If I would have to choose only one camera and lens, then yeah, probably this one together with the 16-35mm f2.8 G Master Mark II. Because it's so light, 16mm great for vlogging, filming myself, 24mm filming myself on a tripod, 35mm B-roll. So it does pretty much everything, but the 70-200 is my most fun lens. I love that. However, as mentioned, there's not the perfect camera. Like for example, I would really love to shoot a Canon R5 Mark II because I shot an R5 before, and every time I shot time lapses, I found the megapixels so good. Like there was so much detail in the photos and stuff that I would really like to shoot the R5 Mark II now that it has more dynamic range. It was one of the big reasons why I switched away before. But then lenses are so much nicer on Sony. Like you just don't get a 16-35 this weight and size on Canon and many other manufacturers. That's why I overall prefer Sony. So it's more like, it's not just about the camera, it's like you're always buying into a system. And I think Sony does that best right now. Of course, the A9 Mark III is pretty expensive, more than most people need, including myself, to be honest. So if you want to save some money, I also have the A7C Mark II here, which is really nice. If you want to have a bit bigger body and more buttons than A7 IV, which is essentially the same camera under the hood, these are also great cameras. But maybe you wait for an A7 V, that should come soon. And let's come to the next one. Danny Nomad, how is Hua Hin? Hi Danny, greetings to Koh Lanta. Hua Hin is great so far. It's actually better than I expected. Of course, there could be a bit more creators here and stuff, but well, you always have downsides, but overall nice, and I really like to be at the beach again. Would love to see you here, and I also hope that I will be on Koh Lanta again this year. Would really love to visit this island again. So yeah, hope you have a great time there as well. And then AJ Biavan, do you have a YouTube video showing your standard node tree? Think I don't have one yet, but I keep it very simple. Like I use the normal color management from DaVinci Resolve, then my first node for basic corrections like exposure, saturation, and then basically a look node like either LUT or Look Designer, what I use for my HDR color grading. After that, a little glow effect. I mentioned it in some of my Resolve videos, makes everything look a little bit nicer. And sometimes I also use some vignetting or masks to enhance certain parts of the image a bit, but that's pretty much it. Like I keep my node trees very simple. Maybe I should make a video about that in the future. Then Theo B. Roth, best full frame camera for beginners. I think Panasonic S5 Mark II. I mean, beginners, you want to have something cheap, but I also know beginners, you probably want IBIS so that your footage is smooth. You don't always have to have it on a tripod or have to buy a gimbal or so. That would be the Canon R8 otherwise. But yeah, I think for beginners then Panasonic S5 Mark II, and not only for beginners, like you can actually use this camera for a long time. Or also have a look at some used cameras like an A7C Mark II or A7 IV, so you should also get them for pretty affordable prices. And the next one is Travel Solo. How do you edit audio, especially voiceovers? The audio always sounds different to the A-roll video's audio. The thing is, it's very hard to match the audio from an A-roll and voiceovers unless you record in the same settings. So whenever I want it to sound exactly the same, I just record my whole A-roll and also the voiceover in this setup here. I don't change anything. Because otherwise it always sounds different. Like you see, I have this microphone here, the Shure MV7 Plus there as well, which I oftentimes use for my voiceovers. It always sounds different, but I usually don't really mind it, because I must say I actually like it oftentimes when the voiceover sounds a bit different from my A-roll, because then it feels more like there's now that narrator, that storyteller in the background that moves everything forward, and then it sounds a bit different when we're actually going into the action. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I never had anyone complaining about it, to be honest. And how I edit audio, it's like the usual stuff. A bit of compressor, limiter, and EQ, sometimes a bit if it sounds a little bit too bassy, and de-esser, of course. But I use an AI tool for it. It's the Isotope RX11 repair assistant that I use. It's really intense on your computer. It really slows everything down, but it's so much easier because I really suck at doing all those changes myself. And he had another question, which is, when you film at a location, is there a standard set of shots you always go for, like a template? I must say only when I really plan my videos, but then it's not a standard set, then it's more like that I have a shot list planned before of shots that I definitely want to get, either to tell my story, to show what I'm talking about, and it's usually about what I'm doing and not so much about the place itself. Or when I'm just traveling to a place, I usually don't have a template. It's more like intuitive, probably also because I shoot that long already. It's more like I just capture a big variety of wide angle shots and also close-ups and stuff, because then I always know that I can somehow mix it together in the edit. And next up, Hai Yen Duan Mai. Sorry, I most likely spoke that name wrong and never read it before. The first question is S-Cinetone or S-Log3? Clearly S-Log3. I made a video not too long ago that's called Log is in easy mode. There I explain that I think unless you're really shooting your very first few videos and you don't even know how to use an editor, you should always be shooting S-Log3 or Log in general. It just gives you a better video overall. How to start a travel vlog channel? Well, grab your camera or your phone and go out and vlogging. Ideally, of course, think about the value of your vlogs. Like, do you want to tell stories? Do you want to give information? Or what do you want to do with your vlogs? Because if you just publish what you do on your trips without any value for the viewer on YouTube, no one wants to watch it. Like, if you're only going there, hey, today we're going there and there. Oh yeah, we're at the place now. It looks pretty good. We're driving to the next place now. Yeah, it's a bit rough. Okay, cool. no one really cares, right? So you want to be sure about the value that you want to provide for people with your vlogs, and then keep going. And next one is, my footage is still a little shaky. Already use IBIS and lens stabilization. Is this normal that footage is shaky? Yes, it is. If you walk, for example, with just holding your camera, then it will still look shaky. Also, if you're just vlogging a little bit, it's totally normal. And if it's still shaky while you're moving the camera with your hands, you just have to train a little bit more, because that is a bit difficult in the beginning. But it's also quite easy to learn. You basically just hold everything stiff and try not to move your arms. Ideally, just move your full body, because then you usually shake a bit less. When it comes to walking, you should just watch a few tutorials about how to get smooth handheld footage, because there are some techniques that you can use, like the duck walk, that make everything a little bit smoother, but it will never be perfectly smooth, especially if you want to walk for long periods of time. And another one, my iPhone videos always have that light flickering. How can I fix that? That is a shutter speed issue. So the lights around you have a certain electrical frequency, it's a hertz number. In Europe and Asia, that's usually 50 hertz, and in the US, that's 60 hertz. So if your camera doesn't match this number, you see that light flicker. It depends a bit on the light, like some newer LED lights don't do that anymore, but on older lights especially, that still happens. And now, to compensate for that, you need an ND filter for your phone, and then you need an app like Blackmagic Camera or Kino or so, where you can set the camera, the shutter speed manually, because then you can, for example, set the shutter speed to 50 if you're in Asia or Europe, and then you shouldn't get this flicker anymore. You can also set it to twice, like 100, but if you set it to anything higher, then it will flicker. And Alex and Connie, how do you find your travel sub-niche, or how to get accurate skin colors in HDR? For me, the scopes are super small, even though I activated the 2x display. Is it a bug? At first, how to find your travel sub-niche, I would just say go for whatever you really like to share with people. Like if you have a big passion for a certain country, make videos only about this country. And if you, let's say you have a big passion for storytelling, then just try to tell good stories. Aside from that, I think this is really the only thing you should be aware of, because ultimately YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. And if you make videos that you're not passionate about, you won't do it for a very long time, because YouTube can be quite hard. So this is the only thing that I would really go for, unless there's really no value that you can provide with your niche for people, because then obviously no one will watch your videos. But I saw your channel. I think you're already doing a lot right. And regarding skin colors in HDR, it's basically the same as in SDR. Like you have your vector scope and a skin tone indicator line, and it can sometimes actually be that even if you have 2x on that feature, that it still looks a little bit too small, because in some of your shots, your skin tones might just naturally be a bit less saturated as it is in other shots. It really depends on your lighting overall, and also which side of your face, for example, you filmed, like, for example, a very bright side of a face with very bright skin is usually a bit less saturated as if it's a bit darker and you're in the mid-tones. So something to look out for. Aside from that, to keeping it accurate, it's basically the same. If anything, like I noticed that when I'm perfectly on the skin tone indicator line with my skin in HDR, that it looks a little bit too reddish to me. That's why I keep it a little bit more towards green, but only a slightly bit. It's really not that much. And it also depends. Like if I'm out on a hike, for example, and my face might be a bit red because I'm exhausted and all the blood is in my head then. So it depends, but overall it's all the same as an SDR, but it's definitely not a bug if it looks a bit less saturated in the vector scope. Okay, Nino Aglio, what do you think about the Sony a6700 for video? I have the Panasonic G80 now. Would it be a step up? I think the Sony a6700 is a great camera for video, probably feature-wise one of the best cameras that you can find below $2,000 if you don't necessarily want to go full frame. Therefore you get like 4K 120, etc. with this camera. So go for it and definitely play around with S-Log 3 then, because I think one of the upgrades you get there is 10-bit and log, and that is actually a huge one. Next one is Mohamed Omar. how can I make money with my camera and what kind of strategy can I use and how to use picture profile in Sony a7 III. At first, Sony a7 III, I personally never used this camera, but it doesn't have 10-bit as far as I know, so you should not shoot in log. I would say just find your favorite picture profile that looks best to you. Maybe do some adjustments. There are also lots of tutorials on YouTube with picture profiles that other people like. So just watch that to figure out what you like, because ultimately when you look at it, you want to like it. And how you can make money, there are so many ways. Like you can freelance, you can film weddings, you can do commercial projects, you can start a YouTube channel, you can do Instagram or TikTok or whatever. There are so many ways. Just really figure out for yourself what you want to do, what is it really that interests you, and then try to get better at exactly those kind of videos, and try to bring those videos in front of the faces of people that might be interested in hiring you for such things. Of course, in YouTube, no one is hiring you unless you get sponsors or so, but even they don't really hire you usually for video work. They just want to get featured. So that works a bit differently, but that's also a really long run because you will have to publish videos for a very long time, like 6 months plus at least, to make a decent amount of money from it. And you need a good plan, ideally by selling digital products and all that stuff. Basically what I do on my channel, like I make most of my income also from selling courses and digital products. Then second is sponsorships, and then comes affiliate marketing and YouTube ad revenue and stuff. And really getting to the point where I could make a living from it on YouTube was about, I think, 1.5 to 2 years of consistently publishing YouTube videos every week. So be ready for a marathon if you want to do that. That's why also I would say clearly aim for freelancing in the beginning. Figure out what niche you're probably in. Maybe you had a job before or so, you still have a job where you meet potential clients for video projects. That could be something where you could get your first video projects, or maybe weddings and stuff. That's what most people do. So I hope all the answers were helpful to all of your questions. And yes, big upgrades now to this channel and also Learn with Pascal. Again, if you want to join my academy, you will find the link in the description below, so check it out. And also, if you haven't watched it yet, check out this video here in the corner. We kind of talked about this topic already during the questions and answers part. There I tell you why I think that everyone should be shooting log now. So check it out and I see you there.